everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna show you how to make this scarf. I made this for one of my cardigans, but of course it doesn't have to be a match to the cardigan. It can just be a little scarf to go around a child's neck. Okay, so this scarf that I'm making is connected with pom-poms with a string like that, just in case you need a bit more length. So it doesn't completely open. I have the pom-poms holding it with a string to have a circle, but it is meant to be a double twist, or whichever way you call it. How do I put this now? Give me a second. So just like that, and then you can leave the pom-poms hanging, or you can tie them up like that. Completely up to you what you want to do with it. It has many possibilities, whichever way you like to have your scarves. Now you don't have to make the pom-poms at the bottom. You can just make it as your usual scarf with tassels or something. Whatever you want to do with it is completely fine with me. Now this is a 4-row repeat, and I have 4 colors on it, or 4 rows of 4 repeats. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and there's 4 rows in each of this. Now you can make it as wide or as long as you want. I will give you my numbers, and then you can adapt it from there. So hopefully I got you interested, and we can get started on the scarf. Okay, so to make the scarf, we are going to need a needle to hide those tails, a sharp pair of scissors if you are thinking to do the pom-poms like me. I have a brush, any kind of a hard brush. If you want your pom-poms to be messy like this, we will brush them out. So any kind of that is comfortable for you. Then we're going to need some yarn. Okay, so talking about yarn. Now for every row of color, so let's say these are 4 colors. So for 1 row, you're going to need approximately 25 grams of yarn. It is not a lot, so it is perfect for using up some leftover yarns. And then whatever colors that you choose to do and how you want to put them. Okay, so for this one that I have made here, I have 4 rows of colors, so 1, 2, 3, 4. For the one that I'm making today, I have got 3 rows of colors, so yellow, duck egg, and pink, just because this is for 1-year-old child to fit the cardigan that I have made before, and 1-year-olds are not that big, so I just chose to do 3 rows rather than make it wider with 4 rows. Completely up to you. Whatever you decide to do is absolutely fine. So talking about yarn, any kind of DK double knit lightweight number 3 yarn is going to be fine for it. Like I said, I'm just using up some of my leftovers, and a hook. This is a 4.5 millimeter hook. I would usually crochet with a 4 millimeter hook with this weight yarn, but I just wanted to be extra soft, so I'm choosing a slightly bigger hook. So I will be doing just a piece as I have my scarf already made, so I just chose those 2 colors for showing the pattern to you. Okay, now once we have everything, we can get started on the scarf. Okay, so to begin, grab your yarn and your hook, and we're going to start chaining. Now for this scarf, I chain 160 chains, and the length of my scarf comes out approximately 1 meter and 15 centimeters. Plus, once you open those, the little tie in the front, it can become much longer if you need it to be. So if you would like to change the length of the scarf, you can just keep adding multiples of 4. So if, let's say I start with 160 and I would like it to be longer, I would just keep adding 4 chains. So 4 and then 4 and 4 and 4 and so on until you are happy with the length. Like I said, start with 160. As I'm just going to make a smaller piece, I will start with chaining 40. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and keep going with your chain until you have the amount of chains that you want. Okay, so I have chained my 40 chains, and now we're going to start with the repeat row number 1. There will be 4 repeat rows. So you're going to skip the very first chain and make a single crochet into the second chain from the hook. And you will keep making 1 single crochet until you get to the end, and you should have 1 less single crochet than you had chains. So I had 40 chains, so at the end of this row I'm gonna have 39 single crochets, and the same for you. Whatever number of chains you have decided to do, you are gonna have 1 less single crochets than you had the chains. So keep going, finish this row with single crochets. Finished with that, we're going to start repeat row number 2 now. Remember how to start. So you're gonna chain 1 and you're going to turn. Now we want to make 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. So single, single, and single. Start with the very first one, single crochet number 1 into the next stitch, single crochet number 2 into the next stitch, single crochet number 3. After you make your 3 single crochets, you're going to chain 1, you're going to skip a stitch, and into the next one again you start 1 single crochet, next stitch, second single crochet, and third single crochet. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch, 1 single crochet, 2, and 3. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch, 1 single, 2, and 3. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, skip a stitch, and keep going. So you have 3 single crochets in a row and chain 1, skip a stitch. All there is to this row. Just keep going, and I will see you at the end right here. At the end of this row, now I have 4 stitches left. I have 3 single crochets right here, so you should have chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and you should finish this row with 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. So just like that. So you have a chain 1 space here, and then 1, 2, 3 single crochets. Now the next row is the row where we are going to make those arrows. So to start that row, you are going to chain 1 and you are going to turn. Now make 1 double crochet into the very first stitch. So this one right here, double crochet. Now next we're going to make a treble crochet. So you're gonna yarn over twice, 1, 2, you're gonna find your chain 1 space, so this one right here, the next one, and you have a stitch underneath your chain 1. So you're gonna go from the back into that chain 1 space and catch that stitch that you have skipped at the bottom. So again, I'm going into the chain 1 space and catching that stitch underneath. Pull out your yarn. You have 4 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Then you're gonna yarn over, skip 1 stitch right here, go into the next one, so skip 1 and make a double crochet. then a double crochet into the chain one space, and one more double crochet into the next stitch, just like that. So now you're gonna yarn over twice, 1, 2, and you're gonna come back into that same stitch where you have the first treble crochet. So this one at the bottom right here. So when you yarn over twice, you are going back into that same stitch. Pull out your yarn. You have got 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and stop. Now we have to create our arrow here. So once you have 2 loops left right here, you're gonna yarn over twice again. You are going to find your next chain one space, so this one right here, and into the stitch again from the behind. Catch that stitch, pull out your yarn, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and once you have 3 loops left, you're gonna yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Yarn over, skip 1 stitch, into the next stitch you make a double crochet, into the chain one space you make a double crochet, and into the next stitch you make a double crochet. Once you have these 3 double crochets, again you're going to yarn over twice, and you want to come back into that same stitch as you have your last treble crochet. So this one right here. So yarn over twice and go back into that stitch, pull out your yarn, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and stop. We don't finish this treble crochet. Then again yarn over twice, find your next chain one space, go into that stitch underneath, pull it out. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 again, and once you have 3 loops left, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Now again we need to make 3 double crochets. We skip 1 stitch, and into the next one is our first double crochet, into the chain one space is our second double crochet, and into the next stitch our third double crochet. And you can see right here you have your arrows. I will show that again. I will be using another color yarn. Perhaps this will be easier for you to see. Once you have your 3 double crochets, yarn over twice. You're coming back into that stitch with the chain one space that was before. So going from underneath into the stitch, pull out your loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2 and stop, yarn over twice into the next chain one space, into the stitch underneath it, pull through 2 loops, pull through 2 and pull through all 3 loops. Yarn over, skip 1 stitch and make your 3 double crochets. 1, the next one is in the chain one space, 2 and 3. Yarn over twice and come back into that previous stitch underneath the chain one. So I find it easier if I look like that. I can see the stitch. I go from behind into the stitch, pull out my yarn, pull through 2 loops, pull through 2 loops and stop. Yarn over twice, find my next chain one space, into into the stitch, pull out, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Skip 1 stitch, into the next, double crochet, into the chain 1 space, double crochet, and into the next stitch, double crochet. So keep going like this until you come to your last chain 1 space. Okay, so let's see how we finished this. Okay, so this is my last chain 1 space, and I just made a treble crochet into the second last chain 1 space. So I didn't finish it. I'm gonna yarn over twice, go into the last chain 1 space, into the stitch underneath it. I'm gonna finish this arrow. Then I'm gonna make my 3 double crochets, so I skip a stitch, make 1 double crochet, into the chain 1 space my second double crochet, and into the next stitch my 3rd double crochet. Now we have 2 stitches left. We are going to yarn over twice, go into that last chain 1 space that is behind us right now, in underneath our second double crochet. So I'm gonna go back and make a treble crochet. I'm gonna fully finish it because this is the very last one. So 3 times I pulled through 2 loops and yarn over, skip 1 stitch, and into the very last stitch you finish with a double crochet. So just like that. Okay, so repeat row number 4 is a very simple row. So you're going to chain 1 and turn, and you will make 1 single crochet into each stitch. So start with the very first one, single crochet, single crochet, and keep going to the very end, and you should have the same number of single crochets as you had in the repeat row number 1. So keep going. I'll see you right here. And you finish your row with a single crochet. So just like that. So 1 color row is finished. You're going to chain 1 and cut your yarn. I like to leave a slightly longer tails so it's easier to hide. Now I'm gonna show you one more time exactly the same, only in different color, and that is how you keep doing these 4 rows to make your scarf. Okay, so grab your other color. I've got this blue, so I'm gonna make a slip knot. I'm gonna go into the stitch that I have finished. Now my arrows are facing up now, so I can see the pattern right here on the top. I go into the very last stitch, back in there, grab my loop, pull it out, chain 1 and turn. And now again we are on repeat row 1, which is a very simple row. We make 1 single crochet into each stitch. So starting from the very first stitch, single crochet, and keep going with 1 single crochet into each stitch. I like to crochet over my tails a little bit and just finish this row. Again, you should have the same number of single crochets as you had in the previous row. Finished repeat row number 1. Now again, remember how to do the repeat row number 2 because this is the last time I'm showing this. So chain 1 and turn. Now first 3 stitches, so 1, 2, 3, get 1 single crochet each. So 1 single crochet, second single crochet, and third single crochet. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch, 1 single, 2 singles, and 3 single crochets. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and again 1, 2, 3, chain 1, skip 1 stitch, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and keep going to the end of this repeat row 2. And you should finish this row. So I have got 4 stitches left, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So you should have a chain 1 and 3 single crochets at the very end, 1, 2, and 3, like this. Okay, again, remember, this is the repeat row number 3. You start with a chain 1 and turn, make 1 double crochet back into the very first stitch. Then you're going to make your very first treble crochet, so yarn over twice, go into the next chain 1 space, or your first chain 1 space, so into the chain 1 space, and then you catch the stitch underneath. You pull out your yarn, pull through 2 loops, pull through 2 loops, and pull through the last 2 loops. So the very first treble crochet you fully finish, and the very last one as well. All the treble crochets in between right here will be crocheted together at the very top, just the very first one and the very last one. So the first one is kind of a like this, and the last one will be like that. Okay, so once you make your first treble crochet, you're gonna yarn over, skip 1 stitch. So you have the double crochet, skip 1 stitch into the next one, double crochet, into the chain 1 space, double crochet, and into the next stitch, double crochet. So you have 3 double crochets in the row. Now you're gonna yarn over twice, 1, 2. You're gonna find that chain 1 space underneath your middle double crochet. So if you have 3 double crochets, the chain 1 space or the stitch will be underneath the middle double crochet right there. And from the behind, you go into that chain 1 space, catch that stitch underneath, pull out your yarn. You have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and leave the last 2 on the hook. Straight away, yarn over twice, find your next chain 1 space, and from the behind into the chain 1 space, and catch that stitch underneath, pull out your yarn, pull through 2 loops, pull through 2. Once you have 3 loops left, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, yarn over, skip 1 stitch. So I skip that one, into the next stitch, a double crochet, into the chain 1 space, double crochet, and into the next stitch, a double crochet. Again, yarn over twice, go into the stitch under your previous chain 1 space, so back into that same one, pull through 2, pull through 2, stop, yarn over twice, go into your next chain 1 space, into the stitch underneath it, pull out, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 3 loops, yarn over, skip 1 stitch, double crochet in the chain 1 space, and double crochet, and you have your arrows. Now it is kind of hard to see. I wonder if I have picked the really bad colors, but you can probably see them a little bit. So keep going just like that until the end of the row. just like that. Okay, so I'm going to finish my row right now. So I have got an arrow right here. I need to skip one stitch and make my 3 double crochets. So 1, 2 is in the chain 1 space, and 3. Now when you have 2 stitches left, that means a full treble crochet to finish. So yarn over twice, go into the chain 1 space that you have surpassed, so this one, so back, fully finish this treble crochet, oops, and a double crochet back into the very last stitch. So you finish with a double crochet, so just like that. It's a little bit hard to see, but this is exactly the same. It's actually probably hard to see in any color. Okay, and then the repeat row 4 is very simple. Chain 1, turn around, and 1 single crochet into each stitch. And again, you should have the same number of single crochets as you had in your repeat row number 1. So keep making these 4 rows until you are happy with the width of your scarf. So finish this, you finish into the last stitch, change your colors, and keep going again. Finish your scarf, and we will start on the edging and the pom-poms. So once you finish your scarf for the width that you want, I'm leaving this at 3 colors. We want to hide our tails now, so grab your needle, and as I crochet over my tails for a little bit like this becomes really easy for me to hide. So I'm just gonna give it a little pull, and I'm just gonna hide it in through the same color stitches. Now this is probably enough because I crocheted over it once. Then the other one. Again, I have crocheted over this tail, so I'm just gonna just hide it a tiny little bit. Again, I'm gonna give it a little pull because the pink is sticking out a little bit, so I just pull it in. And I only have 2 more tails left. So this is the corner tail. I'm just gonna go in through the back into that single crochet row once, and then back. And the same on the other side. And that is finished. Now we can do the edging right here. Okay, so if you decide to do the tassels at the very end, you don't need to do anything. I just did 3 tassels of each color, so 1 tassel at the beginning of each color, 1 in the middle, and 1 at the end. So 3 tassels, and I'd have just connected them. So nothing special. You don't really need an edging if you want to do this. Now if you want to do the pom-pom edging, you are going to pick a color, whichever one you want to be at the end. So I pick my the color that is in the middle, make a slip knot, connect at the very end, pull it out, chain one, and again I'm going to crochet over my tails and just make one single crochet in the places where you can. So I'm just going to go about here. So let me see, I have 4 single crochets, and then it's the next color. I do one right here, so that is 1 right here, that is 2, 1 in the double crochet, that is 3, and 1 at the end of the color, that is 4. And my last color, 1, 2, it's a little wide, 2, 3, and 4. Now the next row is the row where we are going to make these holes for the little rope to go in. And now remember, the other side is going to be absolutely the same. So you're gonna chain 1, you're going to turn, you will make a single crochet into the first stitch, a single crochet into the next stitch, then you are going to chain 2, 1, 2, skip 2 stitches, 1, 2 into the third stitch, start your single crochets, and keep going with your single crochets until you have 4 stitches left. So I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And again, once you have 4 stitches left, you're gonna chain 2, you will skip 2 stitches and finish with 2 single crochets. So we have 1 hole and 2 hole with 2 single crochets at the end. I think I only caught, I caught only 1 strand. Fix that. Okay, and the third row is chain 1 and turn, 1 single crochet into each stitch where you have the chain 2 space. You're going to make 2 single crochets, continue on with 1 single crochet into each stitch, two single crochets in the chain 2 space, and finish off with single crochets. And that is all. You chain 1, cut your yarn, and do exactly the same on the other side. Once you finish with both edges, you just hide those tails. And we are nearly finished. Go back. The next thing that we are going to do is we are going to make that little string for pom-poms. Now you can make it as long or as short as you like. I am going to chain approximately 70. Now I'm not necessarily need all those chains. I will show you everything. So start with chaining a long chain that you think is long enough for you to for the string to tie in a little bow. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and I will keep going until I have approximately 70 chains. It doesn't have to be very accurate, it just has to be long enough. Okay, so I have chained 70 chains, and now I will skip the very first chain, and starting from the second chain I will make one single crochet into each chain. You can do slip stitches if you prefer a slightly more round kind of string, but I do not mind. This will be, you will not be really able to see this string. So keep going with your single crochets. Okay, so once you have your chains all made, so I have single crochets right here, I have just left a few chains at the end right here, so I can show you how to cut it off. so just in case your chain is too long for you. Okay, so now you want to make sure that your scarf is not twisted and put one side on top of the other. So you have your holes like this. Now I'm gonna go in from the top into the first two holes. So the string is going in through the both sides and come out from the bottom out like this. Now you make sure that this is long enough for you to make a little bow. So let me see. So this is perfect for me. I don't want the string to be too long, so I'm happy with this. So what you can do is you can just cut off your yarn wherever you have finished. I'm gonna cut right here and I'm gonna pull that out. Now I'm actually going to go into the right like this. Now if you have some chains left, if the starting chain was too long for you, what you do is you count your third chain from where you have finished. So 1, 2, 3, and at the very end of that third chain you cut. You can take the little piece out and then you kind of just pull on that tail and all of those other chains go away. I'm gonna make a little tie at the very end. And because my pom-poms are going to be a different color, I need to hide those tails. I'm just gonna go in through in between the single crochets. I'm gonna cut that off, and with that smaller tail as well. I'm happy with this, and now on to the pom-poms. Now whatever way that you do your pom-poms is absolutely fine. If you have your pom-pom makers, pull them out. I just do really quick pom-poms with my hands. So I'm gonna do them in that same pink. I have a little bit of leftover, so as I'm gonna have two pom-poms, I first of all cut two strings and then keep one right here. I just go around 3 of my fingers approximately 50 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 30. So approximately maybe 55 times or something like that. Whatever thickness of your pom-poms you want. I'm gonna cut that off. I'm gonna keep it like this. Grab my string and put it around twice. Now, like I said, whichever way that you like to make your pom-poms is absolutely fine. I'm just gonna put it in the middle like that, pull tight and make a knot. And one more time. A good knot like this. So I usually now connect to the string before I cut it off, but you can do as like I said, you can do it whichever way you want. So I'm gonna do another one of these. Okay, so I have both of my pom-poms. I'm just gonna use those two tails to tie them onto the string. Put my needle and at the very end of the string I'm just gonna go in and tie a knot really tight. Actually, I'm gonna make a few knots. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever. Once you're happy that it will stay on, just leave those tails and do the same with the other one. Now at this point you have to be sure that this is correct, because once you cut those pom-poms or tie them on, you will not be able to take that out. Okay, so make sure you are happy, and the same with the other pom-pom. Okay, so that's fantastic. Next step is to cut my pom-poms. You might have them cut already. I'm just gonna do that right now. I'm not gonna do a very good job right now for like really pretty, because it will change once I brush them out. You will have to cut them again, so I'll just take the really long ones out. I'm gonna cut those tails. Okay, now exactly the same with the other one. Okay, so once you're approximately happy with the length, like I said, you will need to do a bit more modeling if you're going to brush them out. I'm just gonna grab my brush. I'm gonna hold on to the string and I will start brushing. It's gonna take a little while for the yarn to start coming apart. If it's easier for you, you can take the needle and just go into the strands and in the middle and just pull them out. That helps as well. But I think it is a little bit faster with a brush, so I will keep going. And eventually now you can see there's, oh, you cannot see, sorry. So they are starting to come apart and they're really nice and wavy. So just keep brushing at them until you are happy with how they look. It, like I said, it will take a little while for them, for that yarn to untangle and become all nice and fluffy. So keep going for now. Okay, so I'm almost finished with this one, and you can see the difference that this becomes so much fluffier than the other one. Now I still have to do the other one, but once you are happy with how your pom-pom looks, you can just cut it, whatever is sticking out, just to make it rounder. Okay, so I'm happy with this one. Now I just need to do the same with the other one. And don't worry if you have some fluff left in your brush. It just brushes out a little bit of the yarn. So keep going. I'll see you once I finish with my other pom-pom. And so I am finished with my scarf. It is matching my little cardigan. You can put it on in many ways, whichever way you want it. You can leave those pom-poms loose to add a little bit more length. You can close them just to have them hanging nicely, whatever you feel you want to do with them. Well, thank you very much for watching. So this is the scarf that came out. I hope you liked it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.